Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about employment barriers for people with disabilities and how schools can help prepare students before they graduate. My main point is that IDEA gives students the tools they need to prepare for adulthood, but barriers like discrimination, inaccessible workplaces, and ableism can still make it difficult to find and keep employment. I'll explain how IDEA and transition planning work, connect them to ADA, and discuss why creating inclusive workplaces is everyone's responsibility. Why employment matters? Employment is much more than earning a paycheck. Having a job allows people to become independent, support themselves, build confidence, and participate in a community. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, people with disabilities continue to have lower employment rates than people without disabilities. Employment also supports social inclusion and independence. IDEA ensures students with disabilities receive a free, appropriate public education. Beginning at age 16, students with IEPs develop transition plans for employment, college, and vocational training, as well as independent living. Transition planning helps students prepare for adult life. As a personal connection, firsthand at my high school, students in the special education program practice job skills, daily living skills, and independence through goals through their IEP. For example, after school, the special education students had a stand open for snacks, and they would sell things like Gatorade, chips, popcorn, and this was helping them learn how to handle money, interact with other students, as well as just general work. And another thing they did was they had a washer and dryer in their classrooms, and they would wash and dry students' clothes that didn't have accessibility to washer and dryers at home. And this gives them the independence in life after high school and helps them develop confidence so they can wash their own clothes, make their own food, etc. Looking back, I realized these experiences were part of IDEA's transition planning process. The district's evaluations, roadmaps, and special education processes show how students are supported from evaluation through transition. Beyond high school, things like career options and alternative programs help them for career readiness. In the Willoughby school system, they provide career options and alternative programs that prepare students for employment and independent living. These programs help students gain workplace experience and confidence before graduating. For an example, they do the same thing as my high school with the after school concession stand. With all these accessibility accommodations, there are still barriers. Hiring discrimination, accessibility issues with accommodation, and ableism. Even with good preparation, many people still face employment barriers. Applicants with disabilities often receive fewer positive responses from employers than equally qualified applicants without disabilities. It shows that preparation alone cannot remove workplace barriers. Another personal experience, I wouldn't say personal, but a first-hand account. One of my friends works as a DSP, so he works with people with physical and mental disabilities, and one of his clients is in a wheelchair, and he has to go very far, almost an hour away, looking for jobs that have accessibility and that are willing to hire him within the hours that he can work throughout the day. Since he's unable to provide himself transportation and he's really on somebody else's time all day, he has to have very specific time slots, and he has to work with several other people just to make sure he can get to work and back. Now, this is not necessarily an issue on his part, but the employers struggle to hire somebody with setbacks like that, especially when they see that he's in a wheelchair and he might not be able to provide as much assistance as they need due to his lack of mobility. They will usually just push him away and hire somebody else. ADA and ableism. ADA protects qualified workers with disabilities from discrimination and requires reasonable accommodations. However, ableism and stereotypes still limit opportunities. The laws are important, but changing attitudes is just as important. And after hearing some of this, you may be asking, why does this matter? IDEA prepares students before graduation, while ADA protects them in the workplace. These two create opportunities for people with disabilities, but schools, employers, and the community all have to work together to reduce these barriers that are set upon people with disabilities by our society in order to suppress them and make it harder for them to strive. In conclusion, IDEA helps students prepare for employment through transition planning, while ADA protects them after they enter the workforce. My experience in high school showed me how valuable these programs are, as well as hearing firsthand accounts from my friend who works with disabled people and assists them in getting to work, etc. If schools continue preparing students and employers continue creating inclusive and accessible workplaces, more people with disabilities will have the opportunity to succeed.